definitely related to Jimmy because I think when I was the Minister of Science and Technology, I was here to take part in I think an international symposium, something like that, right? And it was at that time that I had the pleasure of meeting Mark and many of your experts in geospatial information. He didn't tell me I was going to give a talk. He told me that there would be a panel. I can listen to the panel, and I thought, well, it would be very interesting because I was invited to do a talk about 6 p.m. this evening to some undergraduate students, and so we wanted to take advantage of my presence here. And so he asked me to be here earlier than the talk and take part in panel, not talk. Okay? But I want to come back and say that yes, among all the retired life, one of my titles was the sort of the chairman of the IoT Alliance, not Society Alliance, IoT Alliance, and one of the topics I will be talking about this evening to the students is really to encourage them to be innovative in coming up with different new applications of IoT. And so I can imagine that IoT also plays a very important role in the geospatial development in the future. And again, coming back to the standards, with another standard, we couldn't get this consistent and unified information infrastructure in place to really promote the applications. So I can really sense that as we move into more advanced and more innovative technology, the standard has to be in place early. It's better to have that because early than later, and so that the industry can work on the applications without duplicating too much of it. So I don't have a talk, okay? I don't have a talk, but definitely I would look forward to the panel. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, so Trevor, I think we can continue with that, or any one of you would like to talk to like Dr. Zhang, because we are taking this advantage. He's going to make a speech to the undergrad student just here at the hall. So it's a big event for the entire campus also tonight, because there's a very good course offer by, in fact, it's by the president of the university and the board council of the entire university to offer some kind of like probably every month we invite someone to come over to the campus to make a good speech about something. So this time it's Dr. Zhang. So Trevor, you want to initiate some kind of panel discussion, because we just discussed about how we can do things in the future about in the Asia area, how about standards, all the things.
Just to provide you with a little context. We had many excellent speeches today, and should just go. I only have 2 slides, so you can go to the first one, second one. So earlier this year, we had one of our members say, so we've had 100 meetings. This is the 101st meeting here. So what about the next one? So I said, this is the same for the Asia Forum. And I've thrown up a number of ideas up here in terms of what should the Asia Forum do as it relates to standards. Should they get more accurate plot tests, mashups, projects, sluts and scenarios, smart cities, disasters, marine, SBI, agriculture, water. Do some more outreach and capacity building. Additional forum events in 2017. Support forum and membership growth for OGC. The more organizations, the better. Understanding that there are regional requirements, regional differences. Should the group be focusing on more efforts with GEO, UNG, GIM, GSDI, which I didn't put down there, ISDE, which is the International Society of Digital Work, and essentially just open the floor up to some discussion, some ideas about where to next for the Asia Forum. I do also recognize it's the end of the day, so people are probably not super energetic, but I thought I'd throw that. So any ideas, comments, thoughts? Should I give everybody a chocolate bar? Mark, do you want to say a few words?
Well, I just wanted to go back to your comment that you were chair of the IoT. We just released not too long ago a standard called Sensor Things, which enables the interoperability of different IoT devices. So you were spot on when you said that IoT is an intersection with geo, because every device has a location. And I was really interested to hear that because we've gone well beyond what people would think is mapping and visualization of maps to sensors and models, forecasting, and big data. And so we're really excited to be moving more and more into those areas. I was wondering, does anybody in the room have a question? Yeah, we have a very important person in the room. We have an opportunity for you to ask a question. Slade?
Me? No, I just want to know some like a higher level of the strategy and the policy for not only for the standardization and for international interoperability, but also the strategy how we really make the so-called industrial to do the international harmonization. I mean, even for the developing countries like that. Yes. The high-level stuff.
That's a deep one.
It's a pretty high-level question.
I caught only part of the question. Your question was, how should developing countries develop something? I missed part of the question.
Sorry. Because I remember that we had a kind of like an industrial consultant discussion for the white paper recommendation for the Taiwan policy, for the standardization and the ICT policy and so on. But it's interesting to me. It's about what would be the follow-up and what would be our real policy for this kinds of yes.
You should have someone who's in the government position, not just retire from the government position, and most of our original policy got switched to something else. To be honest, I cannot tell you clearly what the policy you mentioned, the policy of the new government is. I think they are still feeling around, not fooling around, feeling around. Okay? Feeling around to see what is the best policy to really push technology forward. And in the meantime, not to have the credit given to the previous government. Okay. I think today is the National Science and Technology Conference. Today is every fourth year, the Ministry of Science and Technology hold this National Science and Technology Conference, try to determine the policy for the next 4 years related to science and technology. And then, of course, the biggest news from this conference is Morris Chen. Morris Chen is the chairman of TSMC. And he said he has been attending this national conference every 4 years since something like 20 years ago. And more recently, you see participation from the industry is getting lighter and lighter. And then the conference is dominated by academia and government. And so it doesn't feel this is a good sign. And we hope that while the company is demanding the industry to shape up and then be ready for transformation to the new technology, it is not a good thing that the industry is missing from this national conference. So I cannot answer your question related to what the new policy would be, but I would like to point out that Ms. Chen did point out a very important ingredient of the conference, namely to have enough participation from the industry to work together on policy and then so that they can be part of the policy from the information and then be agreeable on the policy as part of the future transformation. Okay. So to answer your question short, the new policy remains to be seen, remains to be observed in the next few months. Hopefully not years, but it should be obvious in the next few months. Citizen as you or any friends here in the room, we definitely see that, we definitely hope that the government can really take input from different parties and then form a very unified policy that will be supported by all members of the communities.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, I think I can add one extra thing is one of the very big tasks for Dr. Jones did during his period as officers in the government is the policy of open data. Yeah, the policy of open data. I think Dr. Jones started for the open data policy when he was non-portfolio minister. Minister without portfolio. Okay, so he initiated the open data policy in Taiwan, which created lots of different kind of incentive for even for lots of private companies in Taiwan. Well, just like the one who raised the question, the Slayer, is a spin-off company from Itri. Yeah. So this company is in the package of one of the OGC standards now, the GOSNS, to work together with Asia banks and lots of different projects now. And also in this afternoon session from Japan, the Hitachi company, they're doing lots of things using this kind of standard and they're trying to create lots of new business for Hitachi company. And also the last one, the company from Malaysia, is also a company use a lot of OGC standard and they found out like this is good society, they should be involved. And also from the standards, it will create lots of different opportunity for them. So I think using this kind of standard is a very good opportunity because you can share lots of information, data, and once you can do that, there are lots of business more, even in Taiwan or even in the world. Even for OGC, I think OGC, yeah, lots of the members are from industry. Yeah.
But the interesting thing, you mentioned in your short talk just a few minutes ago that you should have the standards ready early to facilitate rapid transition of new technology. So we have GOSNS here, which has had an impact on disaster response that came out of Taiwan. We have indoor location, which was created by the Asian community as well, which takes us to a whole new area where we spend 90% of our time, but we can't navigate indoors. And then, as Jimmy mentioned, moving features came out of Japan. And I think we can say that the Sendai earthquake and tsunami had a lot to do with that as well. I think as an event that spurred thinking about how we can take advantage of moving features for disaster response. So I think we're trying to stay ahead of the curve, but that is a challenge. But I will say that between the industrial research and the academic research, I don't think I've seen participation in other standards organizations like we have at OGC and how they bring those groundbreaking technologies in for us to standardize around before industry is ready to field them. So I think we have a little bit of that pattern figured out, maybe not perfectly, but I'm very comfortable that we are making inroads, and I'm very, very pleased with what Asia's doing through it.
Anyone has any more questions? Yeah, okay. So John is the Secretary General from GSEI Society. Yeah. And also you've been to Taiwan many times.
This is my sixth visit. Just to bring it back to Trevor's question about what we do next, because Taiwan has been such a strong supporter for our association through the International Center for Land Policy Studies. Over the last 6, I guess it's 5 years now, they funded 17 or 18 members from developing nations to come here for a 2-week training course. To me, within the GSDI Association, as small as we are compared to OGC, we're, as of this year, for the 2017 budget, we're putting about 50% of our budget into capacity building, actually creating a program manager for it, and 50% into what's basically outreach, which is communications. And I think it's important that if we try to do that as part of an ongoing program over next years, taking into the, your comment on regional plans, outreach capacity building needs to be structured differently for different regions. Not so much the regions, but the development level of the countries you're working into. I mean, Taiwan is so advanced, it outshines half the European countries I work with, certainly on open data, things like that. But there are other countries in the region that, you know, are lower down the scale from the point of view of readiness to implement SPI or even geospatial information. So it's something to, you know, I would throw into the table to think about how you would actually do something like that to deliver real practical activities at the future meetings across the region. And then getting support from governments, especially from Taiwan, because you're so good at this, to carry that forward.
Well, I think Taiwan being very supportive of lots of different kind of international activities, and toward this kind of like OGC or GSDI, yes, the government policy support lots of different like developing country to train their expertise to come over to Taiwan, have several days training and learn something about SDI and some of the strategy we did in Taiwan. And in the past, probably just like Roger said, in the past probably 10 to 20 years, it gained a lot of reputation for Taiwan because it's been really benefit to those countries, and also it's good for Taiwan. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I do think the government will still support this kind of issue. So I think this is also a very good time. That like this time we have from delegates from Vietnam and from Malaysia. I think we can discuss the same thing over here because for the last for when we started the OGC Asia Forum, there's like China and Taiwan, Japan, and Korea. So that's only the 4. But now we have Vietnam, we have Malaysia, and I think we expect to have some other members, even from India. Yeah, some other members join the Asia part. I think it's a booming society, and there are lots of incentive in the future.
Are there ideas, comments? You're all tired out?
Well,
So
I think before we end this session, we need to give a big hand to Dr. Zhang because he's on his very busy schedule. He has another meeting with the president of the campus. So yeah, just give Dr. Zhang a big hand.